Filip, Fredrik, hey, congratulations on your new film, The Last Journey.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Matt.
God.
It means a lot that people in other countries speak to us about it. It's all gravy to us. It's incredible.
You know, also more of a congratulations. It's also, Oscar consideration from Sweden. How do you folks feel about that?
It's flattering
and great and rewarding,
and
all
we're
that.
we're very thankful because this is not something we expected when we set out on our little mission, and started to film this. So, but it's all it's so vague, it's like, we're in the running.
We're in LA now. The town is just plastered with billboards of other foreign films that have way more money than we have. So we're just like, we do whatever we can, but we feel
we're really putting in the effort, and that's sitting here with you. That's why we're thankful as well. Anyone who can spread the word, because of course it's hard to compete with people who have
Emilia Perez, like 45 billboards. Fuck those guys.
So we're we'll see.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's it's slightly embarrassing is like in Sweden, I do believe a lot of people think we're already nominated for an Oscar, whereas we're just in the running with 80 other films.
No, 95, I think.
Yeah, well, so but who knows? We're doing
when everything. Somebody sends you a text like, congratulations on the Oscar nom, should you correct them or should you let them believe?
I've stopped.
You've stopped. All right.
But it is, it's
incredible.
And I just have to say, we do everything we can because we obviously, we're very proud of the film, and we do, I feel like, it deserves some traction. And when people see it, they tend to like it.
Absolutely. Well, tell us this. What sparked you to actually make this film in the first place? What actually was that pivotal moment that says, let's do this?
I think, I talked to Fredrik. We're best friends since decades back. And I've seen, Fredrik hasn't articulated, but he has seen it as well because he's close with my dad as well. But, I've noticed how my dad's, his health is worse than gradually now. It happens kind of fast, but also I've seen how his sort of mental health is not that good. He's depressed and he's kind of giving up on life. And I saw that, and I wanted to see, my mom is the one who spends the most time with him, and it's tough for her. So I felt like, okay, I need to do something that could, possibly make him find his spark for life again. I don't know what that is at first, but then I said, well, maybe I should take him to France. Maybe me and him should just go on a road trip to the south of France. The same road trip we did as a family when I was young, And that was the idea. So that was just a trip. Then me and Fredrik started talking like we always do, and I talked about this. And for some reason, we started talking about maybe this is a film. And it's because I guess we at that point already saw there's some kind of
relatability to
exactly.
It. And also when Filip discovered old audio diaries in the attic, and I listened to them, we listened to them together, and it's like this family in the mid 80s, they don't have too much money. So the audio diaries is all about how much the parking cost, how much the dinner cost. At first I thought, oh, this is so boring, but then we all agreed there's like a everyman beauty to the almost anti-poetry to those. And Filip started talking about buying an old car. There were a lot of cinematic elements in this equation that felt like it could be a film. Long answer, but there you go.
I was going to say, wouldn't it be easier to create new memories than to recreate old ones for this journey?
Very good question.
Very good question. I don't think there's any clear answer to that. But I think for me at least, appeared as a better road is to let him re-experience things than having him, experience things for the first time. It's like an inverted bucket list, because if there were places in France that my dad has never seen at this point in his life, I think he's too, frail and he's
the comfort zone.
And he's not that curious anymore. That comes with the depression. So here is basically us. He doesn't have to do anything. He just enjoy the ride.
And also Filip told me, I want to remind him of things that made life worth living for him. And maybe that will make him realize that he should reignite with life. But I realized during this trip, which before Filip did, that recreating all these memories, Filip thought he was doing it for his dad's sake, But I started realizing he did it for himself because he subconsciously, I think, wanted to experience these things with his dad one more time before it's too late. So that the whole part of Filip making a bigger journey than his dad plays into that, I think, if you know what I mean.
Fredrik, didn't you feel like a third wheel on this journey?
Could have, I think, but since I've known them for so long, and I mean, in a way, it's strange that the best friend tags along, but also he doesn't get anything done without me. So that's part of it. And I realized if I don't jump on board here, this trip is not going to happen. And I want it to happen. And I was also very curious as to whether this would work, this whole idea of restaging elements of his life. So
But also
I love Filip's dad. He knows me so well. So it became like a tight little unit, small crew. It became very familiar.
Fredrik was also like the caretaker, both of me and my dad in a way.
Yeah.
We both need help.
I'm the grown-up.
But I think for something like this, and I completely agree with your with what you said, and your question is very relevant. But it's like, it is also interesting if I'm someone, Fredrik saw stuff that I haven't seen, or maybe I've seen some things. I've seen my dad's health deteriorate.
You don't want to see it,
but you don't want to see it. To have him there as a, you know,
Cat-
voice of reason,
and also catalyst. I think in feature films, this plays a little bit like a feature film. And in feature films, the main character always has a best friend that speaks the truth.
a likable, charming voice of reason.
Well, debatable.
It's during this entire journey, because you know, your father Lars was you know, frail and reluctant at the beginning. Was there any point that you wanted to give up, or or that was not even an option?
I don't think there was a point where we wanted to give up, but there was obviously a point. My dad has a bad fall in the beginning of the film, and there was a point where we at least didn't know if we could continue. Fredrik was more, I think, cautious than I was and worried about all of this. I was worried too, but I think I was so convinced that this needed to be done. I had to take him on.
And also your mother agreed to it.
And my mom agreed.
And also we had meetings with doctors that we don't show in the film because that would be boring to just tell that over and over again. But we had a lot of meetings with people who gave the go-ahead for that, and Lars wanted to. So it was touch and go for a while.
And he wouldn't obviously have continued if we wouldn't have continued if he said no. But I think also it's intimately associated with the depression is also like, you rather stay where you are than leave your comfort zone. In this case, it's a little recliner in the house where I also grew up, you know. So we kind of knew that if you ask someone who's depressed, like, do you want to do this? If you give them too much of an option, they're most possibly going to answer no rather than yes. But he wanted to do this. But I also know my dad, so I kind of, you know, I love him. He's my dad, so I know what he wants in the end, or what he will appreciate, please, in the end.
Most excellent. Well, let me wrap it up with one last question. As audiences around the world have a chance to watch your film, The Last Journey, what is the one most important take you hope they walk away with after watching your film?
Well, we don't want to guilt trip anybody. We want to take a heavy topic and make an entertaining film about it. We want people to cry, and we may also want people to laugh, even though it's a heavy topic. And I think a lot of people seem to do that. But we talked during this trip, and it sounds so self-important, but what if people see this film, be moved by it, and when they leave the theater, call their parents, or like just get in touch with people? Because it's so easy to, my father could call me and I'm like, oh, I can't take this now, because you tend to push that away. So if it inspires people to reconnect with their loved ones, that's a huge thing for us.
And I think it has maybe happened, and you don't, instead of, it's also important. I think this is it's not a very tall order, you know, it's not an order from us. But one thing that you don't have to take your parents or your mom or your dad on a trip to France or a road trip. It's, you know, it's way more, in a way, important that you know, give them a call regularly. And me and Fredrik are not the best of sons either. We're just like everyone else. But maybe this is a good reminder, you know. So if that happened, it's you know, incredible, and we'll see what they see. But I also think that in a lot of other, Sweden is a very secular country, and it you know, it's socialist as well. So the state takes care of your parents in a lot of ways. But now this is going to open in 15 countries, you know, and I think in some other countries it's more. I think family is even, you are more expected to take care of your parents in a lot of countries than in the other countries than in Sweden, I would say.
Well said, well said. Both of you, you made a beautiful film. I wish you well. I wish the whole family well, and good luck on the next leg of your journey. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.